Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're going for a drive and a talk. So I was just talking to a client, and it was really interesting for me to really hear it from his perspective. But one of the things that he really got to hear today that he may not have known earlier is everybody knows to make a baby you have to have a male and a female and all kinds of other stuff that go in there, but you have to have two. And what's energetically interesting about this is you have the energy from both of those people. So whatever they were going through prior to making that baby, that's what they put into that baby. So if he was struggling with, or let's just say dad, let's just do it that way. So if the dad is struggling with not feeling comfortable in what he's doing for a living, or if he's looking for approval from someone else, or if he's going through issues or going through things, all of that is genetically put into that child, kind of like hardwired into him. And you also have all of that energy from the mom. So if the mom is happy with what she's doing, or mad about what she's doing, or insecure, or whatever it is, like all of that energy comes in and makes that baby. And so this child will always be hardwired to what those parents were going to prior to the woman getting pregnant. So it's kind of an interesting fact, but it's one of those, like a lot of times when I say it, just like I told my client, he was like, wow, because he was thinking the same, like I never even thought of it that way. And I was like, yeah, a lot of people don't. But then also kind of the weird quirky part is that you feel that energy from that person, and it stays with them. And a lot of times, like what you were going through, you might be able to work your way out of, or kind of because it's yours. Sometimes that child doesn't have that opportunity or feel like they can, because they feel like it's hardwired. They go back to that every time something happens. They go back to that hardwiring of like, no, this is the way it is. Or so it's kind of like if the dad was like a go-getter, like let me go to work and let me make as much money as I can for my family, and let me do this, and let me do this, and let me do this, let me do this, then that child could have that. But they could also get energy from the mom as well. So if the mom is kind of like, whatever goes around, it's not a big deal, you know, I'm going to get married and have kids and quit working anyway, so I'm not worried about it. That kind of energy, that child could pick that up. So it's kind of the energetic part of it. Of course, we have DNA and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not talking about the DNA part. What I'm talking about is the energy part. And for men and women, it can be something that can be really difficult for them to kind of get over, because they, like I said, they'll feel like that child will feel like it's hardwired into them. And it's like, there is a way to bypass that, but the child has to be willing or desiring or requiring to get past that hardcore hardwiring energy that he or she was born into. Because if not, it just stays. It just literally stays in their system, and they never learn how to get past it. So if you have two parents that make a baby, and both of them are highly successful, and they are, you know, kind of like the top of their career pattern or whatever else, there could be a deep desire in one of them that gets passed to the kid that, you know, I just don't want to be in this rat race anymore. I just don't want to do that anymore. I want to do things differently, or I want to think about life differently. I don't want to have the same do the same thing as my parents. And so they'll get that kind of like, oh, I like being this way, or I like being this way. I don't feel like I need to push myself. I feel like life should meet me where I'm at, and all that kind of stuff. So they kind of get this energy a lot of times of they don't have the same drive their parents had. Their parents will have this hardwired kind of like, keep striving, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the kids will end up with this energy of like, nah, I'm not going to worry about it. My parents have my back, or whatever it is. And they don't feel that same drive to make their way or be a success or whatever it is. They'll kind of like, whatever comes at me is where I'm going. And I think that's also something, and I've seen that a lot, especially when parents push their kids into certain career paths. You'll see that kind of like my dad was already a success in this area, and he's pushed me in that area, and then they're like always being kind of compared to their dad. A lot of times what they'll end up doing is like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go there anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. So that's kind of the quirky part about it. It's kind of, not only is DNA passed when a baby is made, you also have that hardwired energy in both parents that come together to make that child. And that can be a little bit daunting. And this also goes for kids that are adopted. What were the parents going energetically through prior to that child being made? Sometimes I've seen a lot of adopted kids struggle with kind of being accepted, because probably their parents didn't feel accepted, and that's why they kind of fell in love, or they felt like, I don't want to follow the rules, and so the child will have that kind of energy to it. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you really have to do a lot of things to get that child past that point of kind of breaking through what they were hardwired with, and kind of get their own hardwiring going in there. And so it's not impossible, it's just something that has to be worked through and dealt with. So that's the way energy goes with the baby. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.